Okay, good. Then I'll share my screen. Okay, so this is what we're going to be looking at today. Search engine optimization, SEO, and why it matters. Unfortunately, I do not have my slides complete today, but I'm just going to be talking through it. And if you'd have any question along the way, feel free to interrupt me. Feel free to let me know so I could elaborate further or just explain more. Okay. Now, when we talk about SEO, what do we mean, right? What is SEO? SEO is simply search engine optimization, right? And it's something that is being used a lot by writers, by creators, and all of that. In simple terms, it is the process of optimizing content to rank on the search engine results pages. That's some people call it SERPs, that's SERPs, search engine result pages, and also to drive organic traffic. So that process where you're trying to optimize your content to rank higher on the search engine result pages, that's like when you search for, let's say, joy on Google or any browser, the result pages you get the search engine result pages, and you also are doing SEO to drive organic traffic right to your website. Yeah. Now, why exactly does SEO matter? I'm going to um, give you 3 points. The first one is because it increases visibility. Now, if your content isn't optimized, it won't be found. And remember, like I said last week, we spoke about social media content writing. We also spoke about in previous weeks. We also talked about like blog writing, various forms of content, and all of that. And at the end of the day, you're not just writing this content so that they would sit in some website and nobody would see them and they'll never be found. You're writing it because you want people to see it. You want them to take an action. You want them to know your brand, or there's a purpose for your content creation efforts, right? So if your content isn't optimized, it definitely won't be found unless you're maybe directly sharing it with people individually. But how much results would that yield you? The point number two, another reason why SEO, search engine optimization, matter is because it drives organic traffic. And another way to refer to organic traffic is free traffic. Because why is it organic? Organic because you're not um, utilizing any external influence. It's not paid. You're not doing external advertisement for it. You're just optimizing the content. So that's why it's organic, right? Unlike advertisement, like paid advertisements or promotions, SEO would bring you long-term traffic, because if you're doing paid ads, of course, it's only going to be for a certain amount of time, the period that you're paying for, right? So usually you cannot keep paying for it forever, right? So it will be for a certain duration, and after that, it will no longer it will no longer be promoted by the ad. So it's almost like inorganic traffic is usually like short term, but for organic traffic, which SEO drives, it is long term and without an ongoing cost. That's why it's free as well. Another reason, point number three, why SEO matters is because it boosts credibility and trust. Now, websites that would rank higher are usually perceived as more trustworthy, because if you're searching for, let's say, um, what do I use now? Latest shoes or something like that. You're looking for where to buy shoes or to buy clothes or something, and then you put in your keyword, you search for your keyword. You're literally going to scan through the results that would come up in maybe the first page, and sometimes, rarely, people would want to click next and go to the second page. But usually you're looking at the top result, the first, second, third, fourth, fifth is what you're clicking on, right? Because you feel like, oh, those ones, for you to even come up on your search results on the first page, it means that it's almost very relevant to what you're looking for. So you're almost like clicking the link to go check out their website, to check out their store and see the kind of things that they have. It aligns to what you're looking to purchase, right? So already websites that rank higher are perceived as more trustworthy, whether you like it or not. You're almost going to click something that you're seeing at the top of your screen, and especially if it aligns with what you're searching for, right? So um SEO ensures that your content is ranking, people are finding you rather than your competitors. That is the whole purpose of SEO. Now I don't know if anyone has ever tried this. Has anyone ever Googled their name, like searched for your name? Have you ever done this? If you haven't, it's something I'd like us to try now. While I was like preparing for this session, I did that, and I was, you know, I was intrigued by what I saw. I saw my, socials and even certain things that I had not, that I had done in the past. I'm like, oh, they're actually popping up with my name. So that's SEO working, right, in a way, because when you search for an information with the keyword, it brings out like um it brings out it brings out results that are relevant to that keyword. So in summary, in a nutshell, SEO is about your visibility, is about discoverability, right, of a certain keyword, of a certain website, right? And you're going to get to that website through the keywords. Now, let us look at um how does SEO work, right? The first thing you have to, when it comes to understanding how SEO work, so search engines, and these search engines we're talking about is things like um, Google, Bing, Yahoo. I mean, all of these search engines, right? Um, it's crucial for you to know how these search engines work for you to be able to master SEO. Because if you don't know how your content is found, if you don't know how your content is ranked, if you don't know how it is displayed, then no matter how good your content is, it might just remain invisible to your target audience. So, what you should keep in mind is these three things: crawling, indexing, and ranking. Crawling, indexing, and ranking. So, search engines would crawl, they would index, and they would rank billions of web pages daily. And how they do this is with complex algorithms. Do that to determine which content is most relevant for users. And I'll explain how it works in a bit. Let's look at the three processes I've just mentioned. The first one, like I said, crawling. Crawling can be said to be how search engines discover content. So these search engines would send out automated bots, and these bots are called like the crawlers. What's the? I'm not sharing. Sharing what?
I thought you were supposed, if you are sharing something, it's are you showing anything on the screen?
Oh, no. I just have like the title up.
Oh, okay, okay, did.
Yeah. Okay. So where was I? Okay, I was talking about crawling, right? So now when we're talking about um how does like the search engines discover your content, right? I said that the search engines would crawl. And what this crawling process means is that it would send out like automated bots, and these bots are the crawlers or spiders, or let's say Google bots, for example. These crawlers would scan and explore the web, right? The World Wide Web, www, right? And what's going on in this crawling process is that the bots would go through this website, right? For example, once you have like a website up, it's on the web, it gets it's being crawled. For example, the bots would go through the website, they would follow links that are on the website. Because I mean, if you're creating a website, there would always be links that would, for example, if it's a portfolio website, it links to your about page, it links to maybe your social media platforms and various other links that are on the platform, whether it's an internal or an external link, right? That's something that would also look at much later, linking. And then during the scrolling process as well, the bots would scan the pages, they would scan the content, they would scan the images, they would scan the metadata, right? That's where like meta title, meta description comes into play, because that's the way they understand what the website is about. Another thing is new pages, updated content, and broken links, right, are always identified during the scrolling process. Now, for you to be able to help Google, for example, crawl your site efficiently, you need to ensure that your website has a clean and well-structured URL. So, but when it comes to SEO, SEO is like really broad. That's why I'm taking it easy. This is more like an introductory class, right? We won't be doing so much practical in this class or in this session, because I want you to like really have a good theoretical backing of what it entails, what it's about. And SEO can be broken down into two parts. We have like the technical aspects and the non-technical aspects. This part I'm talking about is kind of like the technical aspects, because it's something that, let's say, the developers of the site, right, or should I even say designers as well, has to be they have to be aware of, right? SEO is not just for content writers alone. So the maybe a writer would have like a good knowledge, and they would need to enlighten the developer on how to ensure that, for example, like the linking and stuff is being done in line with the SEO efforts. So that's what I'm trying to like lay a basis for it here. So how can you help Google crawl your site efficiently? The first thing you have to keep in mind is that you need to ensure that your website has a clean and well-structured URL, right? The URL has to be a secure one. It has to like be following the should I say the um best practices of what a good URL should look like, right? Another thing is you need to be able to ensure that you have internal linking to help the search engines discover your pages. And what internal linking means is like you're linking to various pages within your site. So if like there's a text on your home page that would link to the about section, there's a section or a text on your page as well that will also link to your contact me, right? So there should be internal linking. So linking within your website, like for example, as well, if it's a website page, or sorry, a business website, a page maybe from the home page that will lead to contact us, that would lead to about us, that would lead to um maybe the careers page. So just linking various links within the website that links back to the same website. That's what internal linking means. Then this should be like you should also have you should be able to also submit an XML sitemap to the Google Search Console to guide bots, right? The developer of your site would know and understand what this means. You should have like a sitemap for your site to help the Google Search Console to um to help like for the Google Search Console to be able to guide bots, right? Um, Another thing is to avoid there's something that's been called orphan pages. Orphan pages is like standalone pages, pages that do not have any link, right, pointing to them. Like I've talked about how important it is to have internal linking, like that's linking like various pages together within your website. So if you have like a standalone page that's like an orphan page, it doesn't link to anything and nothing links to it, the boss would have a hard time trying to understand how to rank that page, because it's like um it will be trying to understand if it's credible or not, if it is trustworthy page, because if a page is being linked, it means that okay, there's some sort of like credibility attached to it. So another way to also understand this whole concept of Google bots is like, let me use this analogy. So likening it to a, so let's say librarian, a librarian trying to like catalog millions of books, or yeah, millions of books. And in this case, the books are like the web pages, the Google bots are the librarians. Now, if your book, which is a website, is, hidden away in a very dark corner, it is, secluded from the rest of the books in the library, it doesn't have a clear label, it doesn't have a clear description, it's just there sitting on its own in some corner, right? Which has to do with the bad linking and bad structure, right, of your web page. Now, it's possible that, while the librarian is trying to catalog the books, organize the library and all that, they may never find it because the book doesn't have a good, a descriptive name, or a good, um, it doesn't have a descriptive name. It doesn't, it's not appearing anywhere. Nobody have referenced it. It's just sitting on its corner on its own, like the rejected stone. So that's the same way how the Google bots operate, or similarly, right? It's possible that if your page is not linked to anything, it's just a standalone page, right? The bots may never find it to link to kind of like crawl it, right? Then another thing you also have to look at is the indexing, right? Indexing has to do with storing and organizing information. And it happens this way, once a search engine crawls the web page, it decides whether to store it in its database, which is the index. Now, I want you to look at this as, Google has like a massive library where web pages are categorized based on content, based on keywords, based on relevance or structure. So the crawling has to do with finding those pages, right? Has to do with sorting them out. Then the indexing has to do with storing them, right? Now, when during this indexing process, the search engine would read and analyze the page content. When it does this, it would important elements like the title, the headings, the images, the keywords, all of those are cataloged, right? And once they are cataloged, the page is now stored in Google's index, which is like a huge database of web pages. So first of all, the bots would crawl, they would understand if the page actually exists. They would try to identify, to explore the site, follow the links, look at it, if is it credible or not, right? And then if the bots now deem that web page fit enough to be crawled, that it's a credible page, for example, it would now store it in the Google database. Now, how can you ensure that your um, page gets indexed? What you should do is to first of all avoid duplicate content. Um, if you have like a page like that is, how do I explain this? So if there's a page where maybe you have two about me page, for example, it's possible that Google may not index those duplicate pages because it's duplicate content. There'll be that confusion as to, oh, which um which of the pages do I rank, which one do I not rank, right? You also have to use clear and optimized headings. For example, when you look at writing HTML or markup languages, there's H1, H2, H3, that's various levels of the headers. And this is important to help Google understand like your page structure, right? You don't just go and use a header that is supposed to be like H1, you're using H3 there, it's going to disorganize your web page. You also want to ensure that your page loads quickly, right? And there are several factors that could impede a page from loading very fast. And again, this is where the technical bits come into play, because SEO, like I said, is not just focused on content and content writers alone. There's also the technical bits which developers need to be aware of. So why is a page loading slowly? And this is because if slow pages are if the Google has crawled a website and is trying to get it indexed, if it comes across a page that's loading very slowly, it might be ignored. So you want to ensure that your page just loads fast enough for it to be indexed. Also avoid using the no index tags unless you want specifically, like you want to hide a page. So it is when you're also developing a page as well, a website, there's a way you can actually indicate for a page to be indexed or not indexed. So unless you want to specifically tag, if you don't want a page to be visible, you should never use the no index tag. Now, another way to think of the indexing process is like your it's like a, let's say, indexing is kind of like a giant filing cabinet, right? You now, if your web page is organized and it's labeled correctly, Google will store it in the right category, right? Now it makes it easier to retrieve. So it's like when users search for a concept or a related keyword, so Google can, the bot can quickly go into that filing cabinet, sort out your page and similar pages, and load it up for the person who's searching for those related topics. So indexing is just like after the bots have gone through your website, it has identified that, okay, your website is good to go, it is credible, then it is now stored in the database. So whenever someone is searching for a keyword that relates to your website, Google would now go into its database, bring out your page and other related pages, and display to the user or the person who's searching, right? Another way to, or there's a way you can check if a web page is indexed by Google. Now, if you go to Google and you use this search, you use this tag to search. It is sites column your website.com. So it's like, how do I put it? Let me type it in the chat section. So sites, SITA. So this is it. Sites column your, then you replace your website.com with a particular website you want to check if it's indexed or not. And if it's indexed, it will definitely come up on search. Now, if that site is not indexed, then it won't come up, right? And it means that you have to go back and check these things. What, like, or why is it not coming up, right? How is your page speed? Have you used the no index tag on that page? How your headings like? So you might just now need to carry out like an SEO audit to see why that site is not coming up, right? And if the page appear, it means they are indexed, and there are no indexing issues. Now, when you talk about ranking, ranking has to do with determining the search result positions. Now, the Google bot has crawled the website, it has gone through it, it has seen the links, it has evaluated the content, it has seen that the website is credible, it meets best practices. Now it has gone on to index, it has also gone through the website and categorized it appropriately. It has filed it and basically categorized it. That's what the indexing means. Now, for it to now come up now, what position is it coming up when someone search for a related keyword? Is it coming up as the first result? Is it coming up as the last result? Is it coming up as the middle position, or where exactly is it on the second page? Is it, where is it? That's what ranking has to do with. It has to do with search results position. Now, when a user types a search query, for example, best SEO tools for beginners, right? The search engine would retrieve millions of index pages, and this happens in what, seconds, right? Millions and millions of index pages that are related to that query, best SEO for beginners. Now, but how does this, how does the how do the web page, how do the bots determine which website would appear first or which one appear last? Now, ranking can be based on several factors. Sometimes with SEO, you're even, after like doing all the do's and don'ts or best practices, sometimes you can even just guess. It could be a guess, or because most times there are a lot of factors that would cause a page to rank or not rank. There are several. But some of the key ones or major things that you can keep in mind is, first of all, the relevance, right? Does your page answer the search query? For example, if your you want your website to rank for the query best SEO tools for beginners, it means your website should be one that is not just SEO focus in terms of, oh, your page has to rank, but even in terms of the quality. Like, it means that your website is like, you usually talk about you know SEO, things related to SEO, various tools for SEO, what kind of tools someone can use to do a keyword research, and just things like that. So it's not that just that for your website to be optimized for SEO, it means even in the quality also have to reflect um that query, that search query, right, for it to even rank. Another thing is keyword optimization. Does the content in your website, for example, does it naturally include relevant keywords? Maybe keywords like, for example, if we're still looking at the initial example I gave, best SEO tool for beginners, you should have keywords around maybe best SEO tools for beginners, SEO tools, or just various tools around that you need to play around with. And also, you, of course, you would have your primary keyword and then secondary keywords, and all of this is to ensure that whatever someone is searching for around that core concept, that primary concept or that primary keyword, your website would most likely pop up for it. So that what it means for your website to be keyword optimized. Another factor that your ranking, your website ranking will depend on is the backlinks, right? Now, backlinks has to do with, remember when I talk about internal and external linking. So internal linking has to do with like linking within your website, like you're linking from one part of your page to another. But external linking means linking from other websites, linking from other pages, right? And it can also refer to as backlinks. Backlinks have to do with the authority and trustworthiness of your website. Do other reputable websites link to your page? For example, if you're again talking about SEO tools for beginners, to maybe a website that has authority, maybe Forbes, or maybe Neil Patel, who is like an industry expert in SEO and stuff like that, or around the topic. I'm just using this as an example, but the point is, other websites, reputable website now in this case, website that have like huge search volume, do they also link to your page? Like, have they mentioned your, maybe they wrote an article and then they linked your website on their article as maybe anything they mention it as, but like, is it linked to your page? Do people link to your own page? So that's what it means having backlinks, right? And when the Google bots, when they crawl the other website and they see that some of the links there are linked to your own page, it gives your website an extra level of credibility or trustworthiness, or gives it that form of authority that you have backlinks that's linking from other sites to your own. That's another thing that will determine if your page would rank, come up as the first page, because the bot is trying to be as accurate and as relevant as possible. If you're searching for best SEO tools for beginner, you don't want to be seeing a recommendation for shoes. You don't want to be seeing a recommendation for heads, because it's totally unconnected, unrelated to the search query best SEO tool for beginners, right? So the Google bots, or these crawlers, they aim to be as accurate as possible and as relevant as possible. So all of these things are being looked into for a web page to rank. Another factor to consider that ranking is dependent on is the user engagement. And for user engagement, this has to do with dwell time, click-through rates. And what this means is, do people spend time on your page or do they leave quickly? So let's say your page is crawled and your page is indexed, and somehow it starts appearing on the search results at whatever position. Now, when people come on your page or your website, do they come there and then they just scroll for like 5 seconds, 10 seconds and leave, right? Or do they go to your page and they spend time, several minutes or thereabout, looking through your page, reading through, right? These are what the bot would consider. If people are just getting on your page, I think that's like the bounce rate. People are just getting on your page and then they are leaving quickly. It means that they're probably not, it's not relevant. They're not getting what they came there for. So the bot would interpret it as maybe your website does not have quality content. So while you're trying to do what you're doing on the technical bits, you're using like when you're talking about the indexing, you're talking about like the headers you're using while developing the page and all of that. So while you're tackling the SEO from the technical angle, you're also ensuring that the content you have on it, the non-technical bit, is also up to par. So that's what user engagement has to do with. Another factor that ranking is dependent on is the mobile friendliness, right? We live in a mobile first age. The number of people who are searching for stuff on their mobile is so much, I think even more compared to people who are using like a PC or a desktop or something like that. So is your page also optimized for mobile view? Is it responsive, right? That's another ranking factor. Another one again is the page speed. Again, page speed is important for indexing. Page speed is also important for ranking, because Google would not, the bot would not rank a page that a user is trying to access, and then you're spending several minutes just for the page to load. That's not a good experience. So it's most likely that your page will not rank. So these are some of the things that you need to look into if you're thinking about like having a page rank. So there are several things to consider when it comes to SEO, and it's a very, very broad concept. So think of it this way. Imagine that Google is like a competition judge or a talent judge, right? And then there are several contestants in this talent competition. So, and these contestants are like the web pages. There are several people who are contesting now, but only the most talented people, and talented in this case is the most optimized page, the high quality pages that would make it to the final round of the competition. So that's the search result. So Google is like the judge. It goes through these various contestants, various web pages, and only the best, only the most talented will make it to the final round. And the final round is like making it to the search engine results pages. That is what you see when you search for a keyword. Now, how can you improve your search ranking? How can you ensure that your ranking better as compared to your competitors, as compared to your um, you know, basically your competitors. The first thing is that again, while you're tackling things from the technical bits, from the web development aspects, you also want to ensure that you write high quality, valuable content that would answer users' queries. So that's where you're using like in line with your keywords. It is not, you're not just optimizing the page for SEO because you're trying to rank for a particular keyword. Best shoe vendor in India. You're trying to rank for that keyword, and then you just use it a bunch of times on your pages, on your web page or your website, and then the content on the page is very off. If someone should come on your website and they are seeing, and it doesn't look, they're not getting like quality content, of course they would not spend so much time there. They would head off your page just almost immediately as they get on there. So your bounce rate is going to be high, and it would reduce your risk of being, reduce your tendency of being ranked, right? If people are bouncing off your page immediately they come on it. So you have to have high quality content. Now you also need to have targeted keywords in the titles, in the headings, and throughout the content. So even beyond the meta title and the meta description, I mean, those are very important. You need to have your keywords, especially your primary keywords in the meta title, in the meta description, because the bots, the crawlers would definitely crawl through that. Now, even in the content as well, in the page, in the page directly, in the headers, so your H1, H2, H3, whatever headers, you should ensure that as much as possible you're having those your targeted keywords on the titles on the page, on headings, and also within like regular content on the page. You want to have like the primary keywords, secondary keywords scattered across the page, but scattered naturally, not just because you want to have keywords there for SEO purpose. Um, Another thing you can do as well to improve your search ranking is to build high quality backlinks from reputable sources, right? Some people do things like guest blogging just so that another website that has like good um what's this thing called? That has like um is it like good, I've forgotten the keyword or what this thing is called in SEO, but another site that has like that is a reputable one, um you can have them write like an article about you, or just in one of their article, one of their blogs, and then they link to your site, right? I don't know if you've come across maybe you have this search, you search for this phrase, best video, best, for example, like best video editing tools, coming, best video editing tools, and then people, it links to like various people or products like maybe CapCut, InShot, and various video editing tools like that. So people actually pay for some of these things to have other websites that are somewhat reputable. They have like good views to link to their sites. This is just for them to have like high quality backlinks and for the Google bots to recognize them as relevant. I see someone's hand is up. Jane, you want to say something?
Uh, Joy, I just want to ask this thing because I have been trying for a long time. From where
Mhm.
we can find out the relevant keywords? For example,
I didn't get
I
that.
was
So take that again.
uh, I'm asking from where
Mm-hmm.
we can find the relevant keyword. For example, I was working for a client who deals in forklifts, in material handling and forklifts. These are kind of truck being used in warehouses to handle the large quantity or tons of weight, and place them in different places of the warehouses or for transportation. So these are just like trucks, forklifts and trucks. So for that particular I'm client, where I can find the relevant keyword, what is the approach to find them?
Okay, so that's something that I would go in depth in the next class, because that's more like a popular, a what's it called, a practical session.
Okay.
But let me just give like a little insight there. Let me share another screen. Give me a second. Present something. Okay, so this is an SEO tool or a keyword. Yeah, it's basically an SEO tool, and it's by Neil Patel. Neil Patel is someone who is, is like an industry leader when it comes to um SEOs, and he has like various resources around SEO, and he has this tool called Suggest, which you can use in doing like a keyword research tool. Now, this is what it looks like. Let me share this tab instead. Now you can definitely go through this on at your own time, but this is what the keyword look like, keyword research tool look like. Now, for you to be able to know what keywords to actually search for, you would have to do like research first of all, right? You need to try to see like what excuse me, what is there in the market already, because I mean, if you're trying to maybe come up with a product, if you're trying to do like SEO audit for a website or a product or whatever, they would most likely have competitors, right? They're not the first person to do that. So you want to see what other people are ranking for, right? Before you now know what you can now focus on or you can now know what to focus on either as your primary or second keyword. So with a tool like this, you can either search for a keyword. If you already have like a keyword in mind, you can search for the keyword and you'll be able to see based off of the location, that's like making a targeted search. You can click on the search button and you see how what the search volume is like, the organic keywords, it's paid keywords, what people are ranking for, people, other websites that are ranking for the same thing. That's if you have a keyword in mind. In the same way, if you have like a domain, like maybe you want to search like your competitor, you put in their website and you search, you can also see like what other keywords they are ranking for. So that's what it means to do a keyword research. This is just one tool. There are several other tools that you can use to do this search. And most times, because of how SEO is, SEO, of course, people know that it's important. It's usually not free. Maybe if you try to use this tool for the first time, you might be able to get like a free search or a couple of free searches, but sometimes you may need to subscribe um to the what's it called, paid version or premium version. Another tool you can also look out for is Ahrefs, SEMrush. So there are other there are other keyword research tools, and I would like do like a deep dive on those in the next class. But this is just to give you an idea as to what you can use in doing a keyword research. So it's either you have a keyword in mind and you're searching to see like what the volume is, which people are ranking for those keywords, what are the various variations of those keywords, or you have like a domain, they are trying to search like a competitor and to see like what your competitor is ranking for. So that's like the two ways to go around it. I don't know if that answers your question.
No, that does help. Uh, Actually, this was something I was asking for. Thanks for this reference.
Okay, amazing. All right. So just going back to what I was talking about. Now another thing you also have to keep in mind to rank is that you, like again, I talked about how important it is to have like, you know, the mobile friendly page, have like a fast loading experience and all of that. Now, so these are the things to keep in mind when it comes to ranking. Um, Now, another thing, I think this is should be the getting to like the final thing to talk about in today's class. I just wanted to give you this class. I wanted to give like I said, a baseline introduction, like go deeply into the theoretical part. So by next time when we're going more into like the practical aspects, it won't be confusing when I'm mentioning crawling or indexing or ranking or and stuff like that. So now when it comes to the role of SEO in helping search engines rank content. Now, like I said, SEO is the process of making sure your content is properly crawled, it is properly indexed, and it is properly ranked by the search engines. And the goal of this is to ensure that your content is aligned to the user intent, right? Beyond the technical part, it has to be quality. Your content has to be quality enough so that when someone searches for, excuse me, when someone searches for something, your page appears right at the top. If your page is not ranking, right, it's usually one of these categories, one of these issues that are wrong. The first thing is that possibly that your page is not getting crawled or indexed, right? That's why it's not going to rank. Because if you're not seeing your page on, let's say, the first page, the second page, if it's not being ranked, it means it has, because first of all, it has to be crawled. First of all, also then after being crawled, it now has to be indexed before it is ranked. So the solution for that would be to possibly improve the site structure. So you have to go back to like your developers, right? How is your site structured? Have you considered it? Have there been internal linking going on? Did you submit your XML site map, right? These are some of the reasons why your website may not be, if it's not getting ranked, it's possible that it's not getting crawled or indexed. And if it's not getting crawled or indexed, then it means your site structure is possibly not great or off. It's possible that your internal linking is also not great, and also maybe you have not submitted your XML site map. Another reason is that your site is also not optimized for SEO. Now, being optimized for SEO is that, oh, have you used targeted keywords, right? So you should ensure that you're using those targeted keywords after conducting your keyword research. You also want to ensure that your meta descriptions are improved. So, for example, you might start up with a meta description, and then maybe a couple of months later, you want to see how that page is doing. If it's not doing so great, you can switch up your meta description, refine it, still maybe using the same keyword but in a different way, or using a different keyword, changing up the sentence. Most times it's like with SEO, sometimes it's like fake it till you make it. As much as you're doing all the most important things, but there are other things that you just have to like experiment with and see if they work or how they work and how much that they work. Another thing is also you want to add like other high quality content. I used to work in this in this big organization previously, and they were really keen on their SEO because they had a lot of competitors, right? And they were providing a service. So their their service was dependent, of course, on people who are um who are finding them, right? If their clients are able to find them, right? Because I mean, if you're running a business and a big one at that, you cannot there's only so much that word of mouth and referrals can do for you. They would do so much, but there's only so much you can do. You also need to have people search and find you without you influencing them through referrals or directly through word of mouth. So they were really big on their SEO, and they invested so much in backlinking, like guest posting, also just having high quality content. So if you're positioning yourself as someone who offers a service around maybe fashion, for instance, you want to show that you are an authority in that concept. You want to write various tips around fashion, do's and don'ts, just to show that, oh, you are knowledgeable in that space, and you're giving out high quality content. In those high quality content, you're leveraging SEO, you're using targeted keywords, you're positioning your keywords very well but naturally. Another reason why your page may not rank well is because it lacks authority, right? And how can you build up excuse me, how can you build up authority from your website. You want to ensure that you have good backlinks from credible sources. You want to ensure that you have social shares, like people are sharing your pages maybe on social media. You're also engaging with your audience. For example, if you have like a blog aspect of your website, if people are commenting on your website, you want to ensure that you are responding, you're engaging with them, and just doing various things so that you keep that engagement and build rapport with people. Now, I think this is where I'm going to draw the curtains on today's session, because I don't these are like the core concepts of SEO, right? If you understand these bits, then when we get more practical as to when we're doing like keyword research and when we're trying to explore various other aspects, it would be much easier to understand, like understanding the concept around crawling, indexing, and ranking. So um so in summary, what I've been talking about for almost the past hour is that search engines would scan web pages to discover new content. Indexing, pages are stored in the search engine's database after they are scanned and discovered by the crawlers. Now, the ranking bit is that search engines would rank based on your relevance of the page, the quality, and of course, the user experience. Now, in the whole thing, the key takeaway is that SEO would help search engines to understand your content, to rank it higher, and to bring you more traffic, right? Um, Now there's something I'm going to leave you with. Okay, at this point, before I drop that, let me just know. I hope I've not been speaking to myself for the past couple of minutes. Does anyone have any question or any contribution before I proceed along?
Yes, can I go first?
Yes, please.
Thank you so much for all that you've shared for this while. I really appreciate it. It's been very insightful.
Mhm.
Then now I'm not very clear on the part that says the part where what would not allow a page or a site to be ranked on the first page. I'm not very clear on that. That is one. Two, then these things are becoming like it's becoming expanded by the day, So it would have been better if we have something like a PDF that we can fall back to. So that's just my little appeal. Thank you.
Okay. So the first question, I'm going to elaborate on that. But before I do that, just to address your um thoughts about PDF. So I don't think I can actually create a PDF for you, because I'm not trying to produce a course out of this or some kind of material. So I think it would be on you, based off of what you've understood, to like make your notes, and also to go on to do like further reading. This is a mentorship session. It's not exactly a class. I'm not exactly teaching you. I'm literally just trying to guide you as to for you to understand it. It's not an actual class per se. So you're supposed to like maybe take notes, and also I'm also doing well to record this session so that you can go back, watch them if at this point of it being live you're being distracted or you don't have the time to take notes. So you can always go back and refer to them. And yeah, that's like pretty much, because creating a PDF, honestly, even if it's something I can consider, is going to, I do not have that much time to be able to go on to create like extra material. So it's something that maybe you should do on your own, create notes, or maybe just go back to study the lesson again, because I'll ensure that I always record this and maybe put them up on YouTube so that it can be accessed by anyone and at any time. I hope that helps. Then when it comes to your first question as to why a page may not rank, I said that there are several reasons why a page will not rank. Um, The reason being that the first one, I said there are several, but I just mentioned a few, the few key ones, a few common ones, and I talked about relevance. I said, does your if somebody is searching for a query, maybe how to what do I use now? Maybe how to cook jollof rice, for example. Have you positioned yourself, right? For example, do you have like content on your page? Maybe as someone who is in the food industry, do you have your content on the page that answers to that query specifically? Do you have maybe a blog or an article or something that answers or how to cook jollof rice? Or do you have related content? Or does your page in any way, does it answer that search query? Because remember, for a site to rank is not an automatic process. First of all, the site is crawled, then it is indexed, and before it is now ranked. So when it's crawled, that's when it's being checked for relevance, right? It's being analyzed. Oh, how good is it? How relevant is your page? How credible is it? Once it has been crawled and identified, it's now indexed. That meaning index means it's stored, meaning that, oh, if someone should search something similar to what is on your page, then it will be brought up on the results page to be ranked. So that's what it means. Is your page relevant enough to, let's say, the keywords that you're targeting in this case? Because obviously you will not know what everybody is searching for, but you would have, like, that's why you have primary keywords, you would have secondary keywords. So if the search query is related to your keywords, then your and other aspects of SEO have been satisfied by your page, then it will have a good tendency of ranking. Another reason why a page would rank or not rank is the keyword optimization bits, right? I've been talking about keywords. In the next class, we're going to look at deeply into keywords, right? And how they affect your page, like different types of keywords, long keywords, phrases phrases that's like long tail keywords, short tail keywords, and various kinds of keywords. We're going to be looking into that more detailed in next session. The keyword optimization, does your keywords occur naturally in your site, or have you really just placed them just for, because it's just like when somebody writes like a chat GPT strictly focused content, you just put in a prompt and just chat GPT generates something, and then you just copy and paste and submit, right? There'll be a difference from when somebody uses an actual detailed prompt, and not just using that detailed prompt, they still go back and edit the work, right? Because ChatGPT is meant to, I'm just using this as an example. ChatGPT is meant to like enhance our work, as maybe for using it as a writer, is meant to enhance your work. It's not supposed to like take out that creativity that is meant for you as a writer, right? A content writer and a good one would be able to leverage ChatGPT well, but someone who is not a writer might struggle, or it's someone who looks at the content might just know at first glance that, oh, this is a ChatGPT product because of how it's looking. So does the keywords, are they appearing naturally in your site, or have you just placed them because of placing sake, because of its SEO, right? And you see like there's no coherence, there's no good flow. So the keywords should, while you're optimizing for SEO, the keywords should be natural and relevant on your website or web page. Another reason why a website would rank or would not rank is because of like your backlinks. Have there been reputable websites? Like, by reputable, I mean websites that have like good search volume. That is, people are always, they have good traffic. Are such websites linking to your own website? Is a website like Forbes, have they mentioned your website somewhere? Have they linked to it? I'm just using Forbes as an example, right? But websites with good search volume, with good reputation, basically, and it's not just one or two, but there should be like several. The more the better, basically. The more websites that are linking to yours, the better. Some people even go the length of like paying for it, guest blogging and various things, just so that another website would link them, because these Google bots are constantly crawling various pages, because they crawl every time to ensure that, okay, if a new page occurs on the web, they can easily crawl it, see what's new, and update it and index it. Also, for existing pages already, have there been updates on those pages? They are also crawled, constantly to see what are the updates and how they can be indexed better. So you need to have like good backlinks, and backlinks will give you authority and trustworthiness. And the more authority you have on your website, the more tendency you have to rank. Another reason why you would rank is for engagement, right? Do people spend time on your page, or do they come on your page and because the content is not relevant or it's not quality enough and they're bouncing up, are your bounce rates high? Do people come on your page and then they're leaving like 5 seconds after, 10 seconds after, or are they spending time to consume your content? These are some of the things that the bots, the crawlers would consider and would impact your ranking. The mobile friendliness. Is it mobile responsive? Is it optimized for mobile? When people come on your website using their mobile phones, do they get a good user experience? Right, this is where like designers will come into play. What's like UX experience on the mobile view and the desktop view? Another consideration for ranking is your page speed. Due to various technical reasons or whatever, does your page take like a long amount of time to load? A user trying to access your page, and then they have to wait several minutes for your page to load, or various components on it to load. So these are some of the key and common reasons why your page would rank or not rank. And for it to rank is dependent on, has it been crawled, has it been indexed? So that's why I said that SEO is broad and it can get confusing at times, but you just need to ensure, and sometimes it's a bit of a trial and error process, but you still have to have like this broad knowledge, know like the best practices, know like certain do's and don'ts that you just have to follow, and other things you can now see how you would experiment with. I don't know if this gives more insights into your question, and yeah, let me know.
Yes, it does. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Of course, you're welcome. All right, anyone with another question? Or a contribution or anything before I call it wraps for today? Okay, since no question, so I'm just going to give you this assignment. I know that I gave an assignment last week, and I'm also going to review that before we end the session today. So I want you to go on to take a look at, I want you to spend some time, study about what we've gone through today, SEO in general. Just go up and read about it, just so that it sinks and you understand, because from next class would be a bit more practical, and I won't want to like go on to still emphasize and repeat this concept. So yeah, just go on to read about SEO, and then I want you to look up these tools. Uber suggests. Uber suggests. I want you to look at SEM Rush. SEM Brush, and I want you to look up Ahrefs. 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 Yes. So before we start next session, everyone would would tell us what their research was all about. So I want you to look up these tools, and we will discuss further in the next one. So yeah, we would draw the curtains for today. Roland, I was not able to hear from you. I do hope you gained something from this session. Siri as well, thank you for sticking around up until this time. And for the next session, I would also publish that as well, and share the information once it's ready. Thank you all so much. Doom, I'd like you to stay back if you did the assignment from the last class, so we can review it together. Otherwise, Roland and Siri, you can feel free to hop off. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I'll be happy to take any questions if you do have any at some point, or if you want to write me a message. So I'm going to stop the recording now.